Did we just talk quietly? Hey, everybody!
Over each other.
Welcome to Deep Thoughts on SNL, an SNL companion show. My name is Rob Moden. We are live right after the... Oh, that feels really nice. Thank you, Matt. We are live right after the SNL 40 primetime special. Just have kind of an informal chat about what we liked about the show. No trivia games, no news, no points. Matt's leaving. With me tonight is Matt. Say hi, Matt.
Hi, Matt. Old class. Matt. Start.
Is this an episode of Great Bits? Brian.
Ahoy.
And Sarah. First time on the podcast.
Woo!
Hey, Sarah.
Introduce yourself.
Yay. All right. So we just sat through 3.5 hours. It's almost midnight. Some
flew
of us
by.
are tired. It's so by, I thought.
It was momentum kept going. If you didn't like what was happening, something else happened shortly after. Unless it was the Californians, in which case it just kept going.
I like the Californians.
All right. Start. Go.
I like the Californians.
It kept going.
I want
There.
Yeah. I like the sketches. Well, the live sketches all pretty much, except for the Waynesville one, was an excuse to have as many people in them as possible.
Mm-hmm.
The Californians is a good use of that.
Yeah.
Well, Lorraine Newman in a Californian sketch.
Bradley Cooper making
Bradley
out
Cooper?
with Betty White.
Betty
Betty
yeah.
Cooper.
Yeah.
Betty Cooper. Bradley Cooper making out with Betty Cooper.
Appropriate.
Why am I not writing this sketch, guys? No, it was that was maybe the most enjoyable I found a Californian sketch. Although I probably would have found it intolerable if it was in a regular episode.
Possibly. I enjoyed it.
I believe it was basically our only use of Kenan Thompson for the night, which is always a bonus for a lot of us. So.
Leah's gonna be very angry. By the way,
We're on negatives already. We voted for the
What's
most.
up with that?
What's up with that?
That's right, and I was hoping they were going to do something with that, to be honest, especially with Sudeikis in the building. So
yeah, there were cheers when Sudeikis came out and did the jumpsuit. We were all like, "Yay!"
Yeah.
It has its own.
That was one of the
emoji.
I mean, that's an element of a number of background elements that would go on, something that people glommed onto. To the point where, look, here you go. Two backup singers, Kenan, and here's the right
There you go.
There's an SNL app that we can't have because we're in Canada and we're lesser people.
Hi, America, if you're watching.
There's nobody watching.
For the record, if you are, I wore this tie for a special occasion. This is not how I dress in my everyday life.
Are you trying to impress Laddie?
Simpsons reference.
We just watched that episode. Yeah, actually. All right, so we have opinions on the Californians. Live sketches was actually something that was kind of rumored for tonight, and nobody really knew for sure it was happening. The 25th anniversary wasn't like it had some elements of live
It
sketch.
was mostly throwing two sketches.
Yeah, like Nick the Lounge Singer was in there as well.
That was the opening sketch for that one.
Mhm.
Nick the Lounge Singer. And
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, so we saw a lot more of that than we probably anticipated. There was a lot more current cast than I think in the 25th anniversary, or that we might have anticipated tonight. What was everybody's favorite sketch that was put on tonight?
Toss up between Wayne's World, which I thought was nice, especially the way it ended with a shout out to the crew, was like the number one thing about SNL. And probably Update. Update was fantastic.
Update was pretty great.
I don't know if it's a sketch proper, but it was new. It was a live element.
With all the comedian people playing their favorite characters.
That was fantastic. But I just love that lineup of Faye, Polar, and Curtin as the anchors.
And so that's an interesting group of anchors to have, like to represent. Well, they had
the guys doing
in
the
retrospect,
stage.
Were the four guys introducing Chase before or after the three?
It was
girls?
after. It was after. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So it makes a little more sense now because it seemed weird.
Update was perfect.
Nice. Yeah.
What Chevy come out and do? He just sort of stumbled on something.
He just his own segment.
Oh, it was the real joke. The hidden joke was news for hard of hearing.
Right. That's right.
Garrett Morris. Yeah.
Which they like to try that every now and then.
Yeah. And Chevy Chase kind of revealing that maybe he's not in the best place right now. I legitimately thought he was messing up, and then turned out to be written into the sketch. But he pulled that off in a way that wasn't
too
acted.
good.
Yes,
too good.
Yeah.
Dan Harmon is watching everybody's reactions on Twitter and saying, "Now you guys know how I felt."
Exactly.
The rest of the world is caught up to me.
Well,
I think we all just felt bad for him, though.
Yeah.
Or does Dan Harmon actively hates him?
Yes.
You have a Dan Harmon bias, though.
Maybe.
For or against?
Like,
That sounds right. I love Community, but I'm sort
Team
of
Aaron
a camp on
McGathy,
that.
basically. Team Aaron
Team
again?
no one.
Okay.
Team no one.
Oh,
Sarah has her
wow.
own new shirt line coming out.
Who was the
Team no
best?
one? I would buy that shirt, Sarah.
Hashtag Team No One. Oh, by the way, people can tweet at us at Deep Thoughts SNL, and we'll probably read your tweets on
Ooh,
air.
I can keep track of that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we could both do it. And then, yeah, so on Update, we had what? We had McCarthy as Chris Farley.
Yeah.
As a Matt Foley.
Yeah,
Foley.
breaking the update desk.
That was fantastic.
Which was unexpected.
Yes, I was not.
That was
Emma
nice.
Stone as
Stone's
Rosanna
Rose.
Bennett.
Oh, that was so good.
That was adorable. That was great.
And then Ed Norton as.
Oh my
As
god!
Stefan.
And Norton Stefan alone would have made that one of my favorite night sketches.
Stefan, and then
Landshark
Myers.
Landshark popped up.
Yeah, I was surprised they didn't turn that into a left shark joke. So good on them, I guess.
Restraint on the part of SNL, which
Yeah.
is not always as
Yeah,
fun.
we're gonna
It's
get
so
all
fun.
that for their next new episode featuring Dakota Johnson on February 28th.
So much restraint there. Get it? Get it?
Ah.
Restraint.
Ooh, edgy Rob.
Because they have rough sex in that movie.
What
I
was
explained his joke.
Matt? What was your favorite sketch of the night? And I'll say it could be a tape sketch.
It's hard to remember them all. I'm leaning towards that digital short, maybe,
Oh,
with
yeah.
all the breaking.
Yeah, that was fantastic. The tribute to Lauren.
One more with Fallon and Sands.
I
One more with
think
Fallon
see
and
what another
Sands.
one-
My ongoing
Sands.
thing for the night was basically this is the last time I'll ever enjoy seeing Adam Sandler, and it was a good use of him, and it was a good use of Sandberg,
Mhm.
and
It was a nice
good use
mixing of the
Hader.
two.
It was a good. Who was was it Parnell who was on the?
Parnell was in there.
Yeah. So it was a good use.
Sean
of all those
O'Neill
guys.
from the AV Club tweeted, "Man, they should get Sandberg and Sandler in a movie together. How great would that be?"
Yeah, he's
Why would you bring that up? Because those are the breaks.
and it went on like that. Yeah, it was good. I enjoyed it. In terms of a live sketch, what else did we have in there?
We had
Bassomatic.
which
was
Started our
meant to
night of
infuriate-
flubs.
I think it was meant to infuriate PETA more than anything.
Yeah,
And it was weird, like the first sketch after their monologue just had two people in it, and one of them was just Lorraine Newman saying
Mhm.
one line. It's like, there's so many people to
Mhm.
get through here, and we're just going to let Dan Aykroyd play with a blender for a few minutes.
Celeb-
Not well, for the record.
There was Celebrity Jeopardy.
Yes. Turd Ferguson returns on his mobile.
Summing them in and
motorized-
out. I felt bad for Taron Killam because I think they wrote him in last minute when maybe some other sketch
Mhm.
of his got cut. Because
Could be.
I was talking about Cecily in The Californians.
Mhm.
That seemed like they might have subbed her in or
Last minute.
wrote that kind of
when
meta
Helen
twist
Hunt bailed.
when somebody bailed. Yeah,
I feel like
to get all the current cast in there. Although not
yeah.
all the current cast got in there.
yeah, Christoph Waltz isn't really that much of a he's known.
Yeah,
for
that's
some of
felt
his
like an
movies,
odd place.
but yeah, for him to know their person, I feel like Taron Killam's got other good impressions that they could have had him.
Yeah,
do
that was
in
a weird
spot.
choice.
Why not Pitt? Pitt would have been perfect for Celebrity Jeopardy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because Walt
He's
seems
so
like a
many.
smart person.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, exactly. That's a good point.
I feel like you dumb it down a little bit for the primetime thing where everybody's going to be watching it, so you don't necessarily go with these obscure sort of.
But that's more like a literal
Wait, hold
10 to 1
on.
sketch.
You're arguing that
It's too
because
smart.
it's prime time, Walt is a more broad reference than Brad Pitt.
No,
I'm
shouldn't
still
go
talking
with
about my original point that Christoph Waltz is something that you pull out, and Brad Pitt is what you go with. I'm agreeing with you.
Oh.
I'm agreeing with him.
Okay.
That's like literally a 10 to 1
Apologize.
sketch idea.
No.
Apologize.
No.
Fight.
We got some tweets. Somebody said they thought update. Kayla K-Trend thought that update was going to be longer with every past anchor.
That's
I
what-
thought that would happen.
We were talking
too,
about that
yeah.
before, saying that we expected like every anchor to come in and do like a joke and then
Yeah.
like scoot off on the wheelie
That would have
chair.
been cool. They didn't even acknowledge that Cecily Strong was on the desk for
It was
a year.
weird.
Yeah, they cut her out of the
The
intros
montage.
of everybody saying it.
Yeah.
It seemed, I
They
guess.
used a clip of her, but not as an anchor.
Mhm.
Yeah, they used. Maybe they thought it would.
And also, I feel telling that Jost and Che weren't allowed to be a part of it for
in
tonight.
the live bit.
Yeah,
Mm.
like they didn't
No.
reference the guys who are actually on the desk right now.
Did he get a shot in the montage?
Yes, they were a part of it.
I mean, they are doing it currently, so it's not like we never had to see them.
Right, but they did try and make an effort to include current cast.
Yeah.
Sometimes. Not Bobby Moynihan, but
By the way, rest in peace, John Lovitz is still trending.
Yeah. We got a few messages.
that was a good runner, yeah.
Crystal Powell, R.I.P. John Lovitz. Yeah. Sarah, what was your favorite sketch? Do you need the listing?
Yes, please.
The
list.
There you go.
There's a lot of, I don't know. I honestly feel like there wasn't really anything that stood out. I thought they were all good. but nothing like.
There's nothing that I would
There's
say
no
is like an all-time
standout
classic.
sketch.
Like, there's nothing that one sketch that everyone's going to be talking about the next day type of thing. But
If I
a lot
was-
of that was really good. I like this. That was really
If I was
good.
making like a best of compilation of this season, like I'm not saying there's anything from this episode that would be a surefire thing to be in there. Maybe the Celebrity Jeopardy.
There'll be little moments like
Yeah.
seeing Steve Martin come out in the Egyptian.
I think the
yeah,
singing
I stood up and cheered
Stuff
for
like that.
The singing segment probably has the most.
Yeah,
like,
singing segment of a
moments that
lot,
people-
which surprised me because I'm usually not a big music guy, but I really enjoyed it.
I was really, I loved Maya as Beyonce in that.
Yeah.
It's because she had to keep being that
Yeah.
in between.
That was a
other
long
introducing-
run for her as Beyonce
Yeah.
too.
And
She's
it was
a great
great.
that sketch.
And she did the drunken love sort of riff that they did. It was quite good. Surfboard. I just never get tired of saying surfboard.
What was that? Was that the word that she? Yeah, surfboard.
Yeah.
She said apartment at one point.
Yeah, that's right.
What was the thing that she was like stuttering over and over again though?
Surfboard.
No, not in that sketch.
Anyway,
In the song,
I wanted to know, like, Garth and Kat came on. It's like, oh, I just want, and they were doing like,
you were
as part of the
in pain
improv.
during that.
Yeah.
as part of their improv, they were like stuttering parts, and I just wanted them to go back to Maya, who pulled it off well. Yeah.
Yeah, it was I was fine with Garth and Kat being there once I realized they were doing like a montage of all the musical sort of sketches.
It was
that they threw.
expected.
Yeah, but it's like they were the first ones to realize this is set up for these guys who I do not enjoy ever. But
Julie Champion also says she liked the female update representing an important shift from the Tina
I
Amy
agree.
era.
Mhm.
Actually, that was the thing that struck me because the 25th anniversary was my gateway to a lot of the older highlights and stuff. Don't roll your eyes at me.
Just doing the
And-
mental math,
and,
how old
like,
you were.
and seeing how much the show has changed, and like so between like Tina and Amy, a lot of the political stuff we saw, all the Bill Hader, Sudeikis, Forte, Sandberg stuff we saw tonight into like almost every live sketch and doing something.
Julie Champion wants to point out that it was surfboard.
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 I was pronouncing the T. Do not worry. Julie Champion, do not worry. You are a champion of Twitter, but I am a champion of surfboard. Don't worry.
Surfboard. Hashtag surfboard. Get it trending. Get it trending.
Yeah, like a year and a half after the song came out. Let's get surfboard trending.
Brady,
I'm pretty sure that.
It's hard to tell. So his username is Brady the Guy. His name is Brady the Worker. All one word. What about the elephant in the room? That was Eddie Murphy just coming out to say he was on the show.
That was not an elephant in this room. I made it quite vocal, but I did not. I pointed that elephant immediately.
We were predicting that.
Look, honestly,
I predicted that was my biggest. Like I said, my biggest fear with Eddie
there are
Murphy on this.
conspiracy
was exactly
theories
what
out
happened.
there that this was how they got him to reappear with
Yeah.
like an ego boost segment.
Doesn't surprise me.
I genuinely think that there's probably a lot of people there that rightfully think that like Eddie Murphy saved the show from dying into semi-oblivion
That's
after
true.
5 years or so.
That's also true. Yeah.
He introduced that there could be a new cast that could come in and be just as big.
I wonder what that conversation was. Like, who made the phone call?
Yeah.
What was that? What
I
was
bet
the
it was
hey?
his old friend Shrek the Ogre. Mike Myers calling
Child.
in. We need your donkey.
Keep
Where my Olga be with,
Oh,
with his
please
donkey?
keep that accent going.
Moving on. Surfboard.
Yeah, I was not impressed with the. I mean, I he deserves that reputation. That is, I agree with
I
all that.
wanted
At
to
the
do
same time,
something.
come out and show people why that's true.
Do a little
Being
something more
funny.
than just take applause.
The only moment of what he did that would have been played for comedy is when he threw it to commercial or something, and they weren't ready for it, and then he threw it again. That was the only thing people laughed at.
Oh,
They
good.
watched Chris Rock do a long speech to introduce the guy.
Mick, our friend Bernard Shaky, wants to know what we thought about the audition tapes.
I enjoyed that.
That was actually my favorite.
Yeah,
That was my favorite.
That was up there.
At the
For
very
sure.
beginning when they were all nervous, it's like, "Hi, my name is what?" I started
Because it's
legitimately
not-
crying. That was the one time I cried, and then it was great seeing like some highlights we've seen before,
Yeah.
some we haven't,
Mhm.
especially now that they don't make the DVDs anymore. It's rare to see those audition tapes.
Yeah, especially the newer cast.
And then especially the audition tapes of people who never made it onto the show.
yes, like Jim Carrey's.
Carrie,
Yeah.
Kevin Hart,
Andy Kaufman.
Andy Kaufman, Stephen Colbert.
Yeah.
Stephen Colbert was a good one.
That was
Yeah,
and he was reading the waiters who were nauseated by food. from the
Dana
Carvey show.
Right.
What I like about those, that's what I like about bloopers on. Are you okay?
Isn't that a Steve Carell character?
It's both of them side by side.
What I like about bloopers not being on. For like a second, they're breaking and they're being really genuine. Yeah. That's what I like about those auditions. You're seeing all these performers that you don't see being
terrified right now.
And they're like, oh my God, okay. Do I have to do something with that? Can I go now?
Not the 75 crew. They seemed like they knew they had the jobs already.
Yeah.
I feel like that show came together with knowing these people were going to be a part of their show. So Aykroyd's
like,
yeah, whatever. You need me to do it again?
And then you see someone like Gilda Radner. They cut to like Pete Davidson. I was like, oh wow, that's your 40-year legacy there. That's crazy.
What did Davidson do?
The joke about 20-year-olds having sex.
Oh, like Green Day. It's like the same thing over
and 52 seconds and the same thing every time. Yeah.
Him and Leslie Jones both doing like their stand-up back to back.
Yeah, it was good. I liked it.
Yeah,
they're great.
Which is strange.
That was like at that point that was my favorite bit of the show.
It worked. I especially doing a montage of something that's relevant to the show that you haven't seen on the show. Because a lot of it's like you're just seeing sketches that everybody's seen, and it's not even full sketches. Like you're seeing like a 5-second clip, and then you're on to the next thing.
And seeing someone like Phil Hartman audition, it's just it's a treat.
Yes, absolutely. It's a treat. Smoking all the way through the audition.
Yeah. Any thoughts on? All right, I will put myself out there. The opening with Fallon and Timberlake was a bit cringy for me.
Oh, I like that.
It was more of a tribute to Late Night with Jimmy Fallon.
Yes.
Than a tribute to Saturday Night Live. That's bits that he and Timberlake got famous for doing on a separate show, not SNL. And they came out and referenced a bunch of other people's acts without those people showing up to do them, except for Debbie Downer, and I think there was one other maybe near the end.
Yeah,
I can't remember, but like I was saying, like it would have been cool if people had tagged in. If when they got to Lazy Sunday, Parnell shows up.
I think part of it was the amount of rehearsal that would have been just looking at a bit to do.
True. And even if that was their monologue or something, I would have been okay with. I just don't like how they opened the show. I would have opened. Or like with the 25th anniversary where they did Nick the Lounge Singer with Bill Murray, and then they had different people at the different tables. It was a good way of tying together different eras into one thing, whereas this one, if they had opened with something more inclusive to everybody.
Yeah.
And then something like that later on in the show, I would have been on board.
I feel like the monologue where everybody kept on interrupting Steve Martin was kind of like I don't know how effective it was, but I feel like the strategy was start out a little smaller with Fallon and Timberlake, and Drat shows up for a cameo, and somebody else showed up for a cameo, I think, that we can't remember. And but then the monologue is
Twitter, let us know.
Let us know why we're wrong and awful. And then and then the monologue was when people started it's like that's when we see like people.
Here's everyone who's dropping in.
It keeps expanding. You don't know who's going to show up next.
So it's the open door policy on Bang.
So you liked Fallon and Timberlake?
Yes.
Okay.
I like to
defend your position.
Defend yourself. Speak to that.
They were charming, and what else did you want them to start with? I don't really know. Like, there's just like some song and dance to start it off.
I could feel like the collective, like with the backlash that's on Fallon, I could feel the collective eye rolling that was going on amongst, North America disaffected Twitterers or whatnot about, case in point, about just, here we go with this guy again. And
I wonder if this is like slightly a male-female thing, because I tweeted I liked it and a couple of girls.
I saw a lot of I'm already crying and
Brian liked it. Defend your point. Speak on that.
Well,
I liked it more for the.
No, how dare you?
I liked it because it was just a nice little run through of all the different catchphrases and references. I just thought it was nice. I mean, I agree that it would have been nice if had other people tagged into it,
right?
To a degree, and it seemed to go a little long because everyone kept going back to that close two shot of them.
Mary Catherine Gallagher was the
yes,
that's
right. Thank you, whoever that was.
Thank you, Julie Champion.
Oh, she's my best friend.
She's a champion tonight. I enjoyed it. I mean, I think the show picked up more from there. It wasn't the highlight of the night, but it wasn't like terrible for me. It was not the worst part of the night for me.
We got a tweet from Nancy Waller.
Nancy Walls,
Steve
Carell's husband.
At NBC, at Deep Thoughts SNL. Disappointed with the SNL 40th anniversary special. I expected more sketches from the past. You skipped many years. Now, Nancy, here's the thing. I'm fairly sure you tweeted at us thinking that we are actually SNL. So we can't necessarily.
It's at NBC, at Deep Thoughts SNL.
Now, there's nothing I can really do to help you here. But I can say that we can maybe discuss why we might have been enjoying or disappointed with it, and maybe you will enjoy this show.
Be watching it live.
Nancy, to your point, live from New York.
Now, some might say that this is the podcast that's been 40 years in the making. So maybe she did actually need to tweet at us.
We should talk
I'm
about
not even 40
let's talk
years
about
in the
sketches
making.
from the middle eras then. Wayne's World, late 80s, early 90s.
To be fair, I think they did cover the eras pretty well, even if it was just little clips in a different segment. I don't think there's anything that was
didn't want to
grotesquely
sit
over.
here and watch a
Exactly.
ton of clips I've seen before.
Exactly.
It's always the same montages that they trot out.
What I thought was the perfect mix was the digital short, where it was a new segment with clips built into it. That for me was a perfect.
That was a good
marriage
idea.
Of it. I love that.
That was a good idea.
It wasn't too clip heavy. It wasn't too new. It was nice
And
on
I
attention.
think I'm not so familiar with the older stuff, so a lot of it was kind of confusing to me, and I think that's probably actually true of a lot of.
Yeah.
Also, like
Especially if you're not showing the whole sketch.
the clips out of context, or do you mean the references to past stuff?
References to past stuff more, I guess, because like I didn't know who those characters were on the update segment. I didn't.
Some of the update.
Tina Fey.
Even Matt Foley.
I know who Tina Fey
Tina
is.
Fey. So she was a sitcom actress. Actually, we could talk.
She's a nice and easy hair dye.
Rosanna was an old.
She
character.
ran as a Republican vice president candidate.
Oh, that thing. Because she looks like that other person.
Why do you have to keep explaining my jokes and pointing out that they're bad?
That's his job. His job is to explain.
I'm here to dumb it down, apparently. No Christoph Waltz. Right there.
There was the some of the montages that we can talk about. There was the presidents and elections montage.
Yeah.
Fine choice.
Yeah.
There was a New York.
That was nice. Appropriate for the show.
Some weirder clips picked for that though.
Some people think that New York is the 19th cast member.
New York is a
character.
character on the show. It really is. Especially the open credits. You feel like New York is really just like.
I want to get a pretzel. And...
Yeah. You go down to the ball game and you see some NYPD, some of the finest in blue.
Get yourself a hot dog, a real New York hot
You
dog.
go to CBGB, you know?
Get yourself a slice at Sparrow. That's real New York pizza.
Yeah.
There was auditions.
Times Square.
New York presidents. Maybe it's just me, but
Maybe it's me, but
I
for
like
me,
some of the pure New York places, like Times Square.
Sparrow.
If I want a good night out in New York City, know where I go? Empire State Building.
Now we're
Ever
just being
heard of it?
shameless.
All right, so our apologies to Scott.
That's my New York. I don't know about you.
Our apologies to
We're
Scott
basically-
Ackerman for
yeah.
stealing his bit, basically.
That should just be the name of the show.
Get out! Get out! There's the
That's on Rob's tombstone.
update montage. The
Update.
sports montage.
It seemed, yeah. I
It
mean,
makes sense. The athletes are a huge part of the show's history, from both as hosts and as segments of the show. It's a pretty
I
big.
can't think of
deal.
anything to replace it.
Because
but
you-
you're
It's
right.
consistent
No.
40
I
years
mean,
long.
on
now.
average, like, is there even one athlete host per
Well, it's
season?
not even
Or would you,
just
like,
that,
divided by 40?
But sketches and update stories and all that, it's a pretty consistent
Yeah, but if
thread
you're,
of
if
the
you're
show.
talking about sketches, like let's do a segment about sketches of sports. There's sketches about everything. It's like let's do a segment of
Like
sketches.
what? Name one.
Like news show parody, talk show parody.
That's true.
Let's
Game
do a
show
whole
parodies.
segment.
But you don't have a lot of
game
like
show parodies.
to go with that. You don't have a lot of.
Wink Martindale.
You don't have talk shows or game shows hosting the show too. I mean, it's a combination of hosts
Maybe
and
they should
sketches.
change that, Brian.
They should.
Yeah. Let's get Seacrest on here.
Matt Lauer really
With your
wanted
host,
to do it.
Roy.
Matt Lauer really did seem like it. See, but here's the connect. Everyone was upset at Matt Lauer on Twitter because it's like this is what it feels like to have SNL in our pop culture, just hearing these quotes over and over again.
Yeah.
Matt Lauer was interviewing people and he kept on just telling them like, "Remember when you did that? It was awesome."
Yeah. He was doing his
Foley-
Matt
Chris
Foley
Farley.
impression.
Chris Farley.
Yeah.
He said Matt Foley.
Oh yes. Chris Farley show. You're right.
Yeah, but like, and then like immediately transitioned into that opening with Fallon and Timberlake. That was too strong a connection for me.
Yeah.
But and then digital shorts, and then In Memoriam. Which
Memoriam.
the great part of In Memoriam to me was that it's like, where else could you end on joking that somebody had died?
Exactly.
And then another joke referencing a 40-year-old joke. about somebody having
It's
died.
the only in memoriam you could do that, and it was perfect.
Yeah, with Bill Murray.
What I liked especially is that it was like the one time in the night I really appreciated that was a lot of like cast members and people in the biz. Because when you have like people like the cue card and the camera operators, you're not going to get a huge reaction if it was just fans in the audience. That's the one crowd where you're going to get a big reaction for the cue card guy because they all knew him because they were good figures, right?
Yeah.
So you're going to get a bigger reaction than you would have if we had fans there.
Tweet from T. Smith, aka Tazzy89. So glad Eddie Murphy made a Deep Thoughts SNL showing. Now, if only he'd come back to host, that'd be right. Well, we would
My little apartment.
Look, we'd have Eddie Murphy was in and out in a flash. We barely got a word in for any audio listeners.
I just made T. Smith's night by favoriting that tweet.
But you know what?
He's gonna get the Twitter notification.
To be fair, I gave him a lovely 10-minute introduction and all his contributions to the Deep Thoughts podcast.
Well, Deep Thoughts really was. He could have just disappeared, and then Eddie Murphy came.
5 years into its run,
Eddie Murphy came out and he saved us from
saved the show.
Saved the show.
We wouldn't be here.
And so I think we'd all agree that we'd love to see Eddie Murphy host. Heck, anybody except
He's welcome in my apartment anytime he'd like. I am not here for a few weeks in March, so clear it with my schedule first, but that's okay.
Yeah. I don't know. Eddie Murphy, I mean, God bless you. Thank you for coming out to Ontario. But
especially with this weather.
Oh man. Well, we didn't have the heated tents like they did outside Pretty Rock. So.
Layer up, y'all. Layer up.
Yes. I mean, what else is there to talk about? There's the music.
Kanye under his bed sheet.
With Sia and somebody else who I
Sia and somebody else.
I saw it earlier. I can't remember what it is off the top of my head. But.
Great contribution.
Yes, I mean, yeah, it was a medley with like Jesus.
I was just the junior vice president of the show.
Jesus Walks into the one that he did with Paul McCartney. That I forget the name of about his daughter, and then a new song that's probably on the
surprised McCartney didn't perform with him. That's what everybody thought was happening. But
yeah, I would have assumed as much. And if
Paul McCartney can't handle that much crouching.
It's true. I gotta crawl.
You're telling me that I have to be on the floor.
We didn't do this in the Beatles.
No.
On the Beatles, we were standing up all the time. That was our thing.
Yeah. I saw him standing there. I didn't see him lying there.
He's 12-15. These are the jokes.
These are the quality jokes.
So Paul Simon kept showing up.
What a way to sum up his career out. Paul Simon kept showing up.
What Paul McCartney doing?
Paul McCartney and
I just saw a face. Yeah.
Yes, there you go.
Which was nice.
Yep. And Miley covering Paul Simon.
Miley doing Paul Simon.
I thought she was really good.
I thought it was good. I thought it was good.
Yeah.
She's a good performer. She's got a good singing voice, I thought.
Like, I hate to say it because it sounds shaming, but she was actually quite tasteful doing it. Like, it didn't feel like the NBA awards.
I think she's a better performer than a lot. Like, she does have that shock element to it, but I think she's a generally good performer.
I agree.
When she hosted last year and just did a stripped down version of We Can't Stop, like acoustic version, that screwed up all of our song choices for that night.
That's true. I'll hate her for that forever.
Yeah, you don't perform the older song second. Come on, Miley. That's not how it works.
We know how it works.
Yes.
We'll tell you what to do.
We study this. I have stats. I have a binders full of stats. Maybe wrong reference?
Binders full of women, and that's part.
What were speaking of singing? What was the favorite highlight of the singing segment that brought back so many different singing characters?
King Tut, which I was very excited for, and I'm gonna also have to go with Bobby Mohan Culp, and
I forgot
Pharoah and Gasteyer.
Oh, so good.
I always enjoyed their
Turn Down for What?
Yeah, that was the Uptown Funk cover.
Actually, I enjoyed. He was saying "Turn down the what."
And a guy started turning around and like thrusting was
all about that face, wasn't it? Or something like that. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I always enjoyed those.
Yeah, King Tut though. I was like, is this actually happening? They got C. Martin to do this. That's amazing.
Yeah. I liked at that point it stopped being Martin Short and Beyonce introducing it. And it was just like cut to. They
just did it.
Yep.
Like they had the although my room's, I've got the same sarcophagus at home.
Jordan from the After SNL podcast rightfully pointed out Martin Short and Beyonce, surprisingly great comedic duo.
It's true.
With the wind machine and Martin perfectly playing to Martin.
Mine was so good.
Yeah, that was very enjoyable.
Maya looked great and was hilarious.
Yeah,
and,
they should have her host again soon.
That's what I want to see more of too. We got that with the digital shorts. Was the mixing of generations when you have. Like Martin Short and Maya Rudolph, and you have Adam Sandler and Andy Samberg.
Well, like that's
what I loved.
All the ones that seem to break on social media, the behind the scenes photos were like Davidson and Sandler, Murray and Hader. Like
Pete Davidson tweeted a picture of him, Bobby Moynihan, Eddie Murphy together. I was like, yeah, that's perfect. Exactly what I want to see tonight.
Oh, we forgot to talk about Jim Belushi. Moving on.
What
he was on the Blues Brothers. Yeah. He's the Blues Brothers brother. Moving on.
Yeah. Adam Sandler's Aquaman. Don't think we.
That was great too.
That was great.
Everyone was kind of on Twitter trying to figure out what he was going to do in the singing montage.
That was perfect.
Yeah. Considering he's already said he's never going to host ever again, or ever, because he never actually hosted. But to come back and do like your old character.
Maybe those Netflix movies are going to.
Maybe when Grown Ups 3 comes out.
Well, he said he has no interest in hosting the show, like the pressure of the whole thing. I think so. For him to come out and do that digital short, Operaman, it was nice.
It was exactly.
I mean, the tide has turned for like a lot of people's opinion on Adam Sandler, but it was nice to go back.
I appreciate it.
Yeah, well, like this is back when I liked you. Yeah,
exactly. Like I remember when he was just a kid, basically doing stuff like Operaman and all that, like watching that
Cajun
live.
Man.
Yeah, watching that live. Go, this kid's funny. Yeah.
Yeah.
Now he's a billionaire. I'm assuming.
Oh, he's his own industry. Yeah. Are those Netflix movies going to be eligible for Oscars?
If they screen them in theaters, yeah.
I hear there's some Netflix. Are they planning to do that, like a simultaneous release, or?
I have no idea.
What about you, Rob? What was your favorite musical moment?
Musical moment.
You're the question asker. Let's ask you the question.
Musical moment.
How come John Bon Jovi wasn't on the show? We saw him on the red carpet.
He was on the show. He was on the live show.
Sorry, for a second I thought you said Bon Jovi.
He was on the red carpet, but he wasn't on the actual show.
Was he in the show?
No, they interviewed him on the red carpet.
I remember being in the show for some reason.
Jack White, just showed up. I don't know.
For a second, I thought you said John Bovey.
John.
As the opposite.
That would have been amazing if the ESPN Classic had evolved.
You know what? I was happy when ESPN Classic showed.
That's such a weird choice to have back. I was so delighted. I loved that. Forte's so great in that sketch.
No, Forte and Sudeikis, like I miss them more and more the longer they go. Because they both had like that weirdness that popped out and like
they could be an everyman but weird at the same time. It was good.
Forte, I wouldn't say it's an everyman. I think it was weird.
Well, he had those
Sudeikis definitely.
He had the kind of generic white male, not middle-aged-ish, just shy middle-aged-ish character.
He could be the Midwest guy before Sudeikis kind of took over that.
Yeah, I had trouble thinking of him as a straight man and everything, but whatever.
I think that's.
I'm not going to fight you guys on it.
Your own hookup. Wayne's World. We talked a little bit about it.
How meta, like how self-referential to the entire show.
Yeah, you know what? I was
very
unsure.
inside baseball.
I was unsure where this fit into the Wayne's World canon because suddenly they are employees of SNL, or they're hosting from within SNL, and they know it's the 40th anniversary, but they said it's Friday.
I think it's non-canonical.
It's non-canonical.
Non-canonical, like those Star Wars books.
World where Wayne's World kept going and eventually transitioned onto
it's Saturday Night Live. They got hired on SNL in the meantime. Ever since Wayne's World,
they're filming from a time zone that is Friday at 10:30. So
okay,
I did like the mistake of including the after party orgies. And being told
struggling with the sign, wigs on there,
and they were so ecstatic when it worked out.
Yeah.
Mike Myers like jumps up and the camera and suddenly follows him.
Speaking of wigs, Zach Galifianakis wearing the Sia wig, I also very much enjoyed.
Yes.
And then immediately undercutting his own joke by saying like next cue card.
Yes.
Oh, also CK
talking about how long the show is. 17 sketches in 40 years.
That hit me super hard.
Hit me immediately cutting. Why do they do this every week? The pre-tapes up to the best parts.
When you're talking now, you're playing to an audience full of celebrities who have had to sit there for 3 hours and sit through that Californian sketch that none of them knew what the fuck was going on. And just go there, and like he's just hitting home with those people. It's like, yes, this keeps going and going. Did we only see Tom Hanks during the monologue?
I think so.
What a waste of Hanks.
He's been around less since the 25th anniversary. 25th anniversary, he was everywhere.
It's like your barometer in life for everything.
What a waste.
You reference everything in terms of the 25th anniversary.
That was my template for what a primetime SNL 3-hour thing would be.
Yeah. I wanted more Hanks.
Hanks is good.
Hanks is great.
Everyone
tweet in short-term memory.
Tweet in what stuff you wanted to actually see but didn't see.
Yeah, who was underused.
Some of the current cast did not make it in.
Bobby Moynihan, 80 Bryant. Kyle Mooney, Beck Bennett.
Saw them in the audience a lot. That was about it.
We saw them in the audience, yeah. And I'm sure there's a few others. Sashir was there.
Was Kate in any sketches?
Kate was Jason Bieber.
That's right. Yes, of course.
Yes.
She just disappears into the role.
Perfect showcase.
Yes.
Yeah, that was a perfect spot for her.
She had fun.
Like that's probably the most. Is that it?
Coming to Toronto next month.
Yeah. Not Justin Bieber. Kate.
Justin Bieber just shows up.
Where's
Justin Bieber?
I was misinformed. Yep.
Is that the most popular like celebrity impression on the show now these days? Just
Up there for sure.
Bieber.
It's up there.
Maybe up there after the Calvin Klein thing. That went big.
Yeah. Besides Keenan's Al Sharpton.
Oh. Ooh.
Well, that's
Sophie's
such
choice.
That's been
a
such a
political
mainstay
thing.
on the show for years, lauded for its accuracy and
Yeah.
hilarity.
Cutting. It's just incisive.
It kind of goes without saying at this point.
The kids love it.
As Cecily said in that article, he made Al Sharpton even bigger through that impression.
This is painful. I love you, Cecily, but that's painful.
It's honestly, it probably has kept Al Sharpton a little more relevant than it probably is.
I thought you were going to say it kept Al Sharpton alive. It's something he doesn't live for. Maybe it'll do me again.
Well, he feeds on publicity, doesn't he?
Basically.
Yes, this is correct.
A little bit. He has his own show now. I can't, like,
A little
honestly,
bit.
a little bit.
A little bit.
Yeah. Drunk girl.
What else happened on this show?
People wish there was some drunk uncle or
Something for Bobby to do.
something about drunk girl.
Oh, Jeff Richards' drunk girl.
Oh, yeah, because it's Jeff Richards retweeting that people wanted more drunk girl.
Yeah, he didn't qualify. He didn't meet the more than one season requirement. So
Yeah, that was a weird thing. Should we talk about that?
Sure.
Because there were obvious exceptions.
Larry David.
The rule Lorne Michaels had publicized was that they invited every musical guest, every host, probably with some exceptions. I remember hearing the
there's some hosts
25th anniversary.
I'm pretty sure Steven Seagal and Louise Lasser got left off the list.
I believe 25th anniversary, famously, O.J. Simpson was not invited.
I wonder why.
They invited him this year, though. Felt safer.
But then no cast members or writers who had been around less than a year.
Yeah.
That's weird. I can't imagine there's that many that it feels like, well, this saves us a little bit of time and money if we don't invite these. How many could it be?
So obviously recently...
Chevy Chase doesn't meet that requirement.
Yeah, but he's around.
Yeah.
Larry David was around.
Larry David, who's never even hosted.
Yeah.
Was famously did not like his experience on SNL. I think he got one sketch on the air.
Well, he got to boast about then making the biggest TV show of all time. So.
Yes.
It's a good bet.
Yeah.
Look what we're doing now.
Look at us. Yeah.
Look at doing your present to each other.
even recently, like, because they make a big deal, like, sometimes about, like, former cast who then hit it big.
Mm-hmm.
Like, Sarah Silverman was invited.
She was there.
She just hosted.
Yeah.
And she was there. But, like, somewhat recent cases, like, on one hand, it just feels kind of sucky that, like, Millhiser, Whelan, Wells, they're not there. People who got cut in after a year now are, like, starting to hit their stride.
Dennis
like
Slade.
Casey Wilson.
Slate Wilson, Mikhail Watkins. Downey Jr., who was only referenced because he was at the very bottom of Rolling Stone's dumb cast ranking of all the cast. Yeah, that was dumb.
That was the whole list was
terrible. Infuriated me. Yeah.
But you can see in the crowd people like Jeff Goldblum. Mm-hmm. I'm sure I saw Jim Breuer at some point.
Mm-hmm. Kayla notes, saw an Instagram pic of Jimmy and Justin working on a sketch and thought they were going to do Very Good Talk Show.
Mm-hmm.
I could have seen that easily.
I feel like they do that every time one of them is hosting or something.
I feel like I said it very recently, so I need to see it.
I don't feel like it was necessary for this environment.
There were, Julie Champion wish Tracy Morgan was there. Well, everyone, we all wish Tracy Morgan was in a much better state than he is right now, unfortunately. Yeah. I
would have loved a new version of Astronaut Jones.
Would that be like? I think that's more famous than the ESPN Classic. But would that have been a weirder sketch too?
It would have been the weirdest sketch.
Here's the weirdest sketch. The weirdest sketch they could have done was Potato Chip 2. Did you ever see Potato Chip?
Was Blake Lively in the building? Was she invited?
No, did you ever see Potato? So this was a famously weird sketch where Sudeikis and Forte. It was an interview at NASA, a job interview, and they had thick Kentucky accents. and I might have Kentucky Rock, but basically it's like, you have the job. I'm just gonna leave the room, but don't eat any of my potato chips in this bowl right here. And then immediately like eats a potato chip or a bunch of them or something, and just like turns into a screaming match between the two of them. Like, you eat my potato chip. That's the sketch.
Yeah.
Famous.
Blake Lively was hosting.
Great.
Yeah.
Her pants travel well.
That really, and that played into the sketch, just her kind of weirdness there.
Yeah.
Has there been any news about what happened with the Backstreet Boys and NSYNC announcements?
No, just that. Sorry, we had to cut you for time. Was that? Do you think that
wasn't from a real person? That was somebody making up a quote.
Oh, okay.
In the style of Kimmel.
Yeah. Do we think that was real? And like,
it was the Hollywood Reporter, wasn't it?
Somebody
tweet
Doesn't
us.
make any sense why that was a part of it anyway.
Tweet us news.
They both, I'm sure, were musical guests at some point, but
I need to see them again.
yeah, and it's like not an SNL thing for them. If there was any sort of like breakdance battle or something between them, it never would have.
Oh, that would be good. What are you talking about?
It has nothing to do with like relevance to the history of the show. It's like, I don't know. I'm sure a lot of people are very upset, but Timberlake was there.
I'm sure a lot.
I could have lost one of the musical sketches, Kanye, for like an actual sketch. I mean, Kanye didn't really add much for me. That's my least favorite.
Well, I think a lot of people probably enjoyed those songs.
Actually, you know what? I liked Miley. I would have liked to have seen, instead of Miley covering, Kanye covering a McCartney or Simon song or something.
No, yeah.
Because
Or collabos.
He's worked with McCartney. See him.
Who hasn't worked with McCartney?
See him work with. He has the connection to that. See him cover a Simon song.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like Kanye is decently like not only one of the best musical performers, but like despite his love-hate relationship with SNL, fuck SNL and the whole cast, he's appeared he's like been on every other season since like 2005 or so.
Mm-hmm.
He's also adding being not white.
That's true.
Also true.
Yeah,
but if there was something, if there had been more collaborations or like tributes to the show's history.
Here's a question: why aren't there more black women? Just in general.
Ellen Clegor.
She may have had one of the best performances of the night just on the delivery of those lines. That was great.
That was fantastic.
Ellen Clegor popping out of drawers.
Ellen Clegor was my part of my childhood.
Yeah, she did really well. Yeah. I don't even know what she's doing today, but
that stuff was great. But like continually just making little meta jokes about how there's no people of color on your show doesn't actually fix the problem.
Well, that was what I was thinking when I think you made a tweet like similar to that about like the 4 white Weekend Update anchors
making reference to that they're 4 white old men doesn't actually fix the fact that they're.
But thinking back to
men.
how that was immediately following the 3 women on Update
anchoring the actual.
I think they got to be at their highest percentage at this point.
Yeah, especially like now you can say where are the black women? Well, there are 2 on the cast right now.
Well, there have been all the conversations about how.
Also, like, where's literally any Asian person ever?
Or a Latina person.
Yeah.
Technically, Fred Armisen.
Don't you play that card? Don't play that card.
Well, someone was going to play it. Julie Champion.
Some would say Julie Champion's the 5th host of this podcast.
Julie Champion has gone from like our go-to tweeter to like racist.
No.
So thank you for watching Julie Champion, but you can leave because we won't take your racist tweets anymore.
That was not what I implied at all. You and I are still cool.
Any other thoughts on the show? I mean,
overall, I thought it was exactly what I wanted. It was a nice little love fest, sentimental, funny. Had a lot of cameos. I want to see more, but
yeah,
the 3.5 hours somehow flew by really fast.
It's hard to incorporate like everybody you want to see from the past 40 years of a show into
get something significant to do.
Exactly.
While still showing a lot of clips and montages and stuff.
Yeah, and I mean, a lot of it was rough, but like I was saying, you can only rehearse so much when you have so many different celebrities.
I think you're being harsh on how
there were noticeable mistakes almost right from the start. But
I remembered and forgot to mention during the podcast the camera guy on whore ads.
Yeah.
Yes, that's right.
Looking at the answers.
The wrong card.
Yeah,
I like the mistakes. I think we just remind you that this is live. So yeah.
Yeah, it just seemed like because it was clearly not a dress rehearsal.
Julie Champion asks, "Are we cool?"
We're cool. Yes.
They forgot Lindsey Buckingham tonight. He never gets to talk, man. He never gets.
I don't know. Yeah, that would have been hard to work into that montage, but
enjoy it. Well, you could. It's like Lindsey Buckingham is about to join us in singing along in this musical segment.
It could have just been haters standing up as if to sing along, and then it ends. Yeah.
We did get Sudeikis in the tracksuit, though.
That's all we wanted.
Yeah.
That's all you wanted from
Honestly, how much would you like that sketch less if it did not have?
Oh my god!
If it never in the no, I mean, if not just tonight, but in general. What if
1,000%?
Like when they bring it back now that Sudeikis is gone, something's missing.
Oh yeah, absolutely, 100%. 100%.
Well, I enjoy some of the random stuff they add to the background.
Yeah, I like when they have the celebrity who's just there, has like one line. Clearly, I mean, the joke is they're not being focused on it at all. They're not.
They brought back since Samuel Jackson swore twice.
I don't remember.
Did Bill Murray swear tonight as Nick?
I think so. Yeah, the audio dropped out. Yeah,
because it's Bill Murray, and he's like, who cares?
Yeah.
Nobody's gonna get mad at me.
Yeah, exactly.
You can't get mad at.
I think I'm so good for the afterburn.
Yeah,
you can't get mad at Bill Murray unless you are, I don't know,
well,
in charge of the Ghostbusters.
Well, like Tina said, what are they gonna do? Fire us?
Yeah,
we don't work here anymore.
Yeah. That was too bad because it's like I felt like that was short, like that update thing with the women felt like it could have went on for a while longer, and then when Tina said that's basically when it did.
Yeah, Tina getting eaten by the shark at the door was the perfect ending for it.
Speaking about minorities,
were we?
Jay Pharoah, yeah, we were earlier. Jay Pharoah retweeted, "Dear Vulture, this is Jay Pharoah, not Michael Che." They labeled the wrong person in one of their red carpet looks. Guys, let's go out on a good note. Because most of this night was
it was a celebration of an institution that's been with us our entire lives.
Yep.
And it
beats me by 2 years.
It's live. Anything can happen. Bill Murray can swear on TV.
I don't know how sincere you're being right now. It's really hard to tell.
Here's a tip: he never is.
There's nothing like that was disingenuous about what I was saying. It's just the way I said it.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Also, the way you were saying, like it was a celebration of an institution. I thought you were gonna break into the what up with that.
I feel like the guys
celebration.
I feel like the guys in Stella who were. Well, I did say a couple times during the night, like every time that I guess it was Darrell Hammond who would say, "Ladies and gentlemen," I was like, "This is Mambo number 5." Whack, 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 whack.
I think it was Julia pointed at some point out that it was weird that Darrell Hammond got to say his own name as part of the cast intros at the top of the show. Darrell Hammond.
I still think that was pre-recorded though.
Could have been.
It was so well in time.
No one's arguing with you.
It was so well in time.
Probably
with the opening that I think
it's such a long list. That why chance them doing that live on air when no one's gonna care one way or the other. The only way people realize it's not live is if you screw up, and you don't want them to screw up, so just record it.
Also, what happened to Jon Hamm?
Probably couldn't do it.
I wanted another Jon Hamm's some weird product.
Cameo? You wanted an cameo?
I wanted it so badly.
Imagine.
I'm hoping he's gonna because Mad Men's got its final season starting.
I hope he
April.
doesn't for one reason.
I know.
I don't want your pick to get through.
Yeah, but on a purely like enjoyment level, I don't think he's hosting like 4 seasons, which is ridiculous. He's shown up every season in one cameo or another.
What was the sketch I noted in the moment? Like, oh, it would be great if like other people cameoed in here to like do some part.
The monologue?
It was a monologue.
No, but
and then
or maybe for a specific joke. I was just thinking, what if they had done the Jon Hamm thing? But they have so many celebrities that night that they could probably do a pun on their name. Like, what if they just did like a cycle of people? Sort of like Ham and Bubbly. Like, I don't know. Emma Stone's in there throwing something about a stone. I don't know. I'm not a writer.
Yeah, I'm guessing Ham was unavailable. I'm sure they would have found a way to use him.
Yeah.
They do like him there for some reason.
They keep bringing him back, like just for cameos.
Cameos.
But yeah, I'm hoping he. It's the correct nomenclature. I agree with you. Yeah, but I'm hoping they get him in to host again soon because I think he's done it 3 times, but he feels like an institution at the show.
Well, he's one of those
He and Timberlake feel like the modern day.
The 30 Rock connections, I think, solidifies it.
Yeah.
Same with like Timberlake, his Tonight Show connections really kind of help solidify.
It feels like he should be a part of a generation of like the new Steve Martin, Alec Baldwin guys that.
How is he not 5-timer already?
Exactly. I'm guessing it's his availability. I'm sure they'd love to.
They'll do it 2 more times this season.
Galifianakis and CK are probably.
I think Emma Stone's only done it like once or twice.
She's done it twice now.
And it feels like she should be
Was she the last one?
I think she's done it once, and then cameo Andrew Garfield and cameo one other time.
She was great in the one I remember. Like they let her they let her play her own character, where she was the
weird one in the sketch.
Exactly, which is like a lot of the times they host.
Well, you can tell. I mean, like we saw tonight, she's clearly a fan of the show.
Yes,
like she got to do Rosanna, but whatever it is.
She
might, like, you can tell she just loved
she
every second.
She might be winning an Oscar in 7 days, and here she is.
Her and Norton back to back.
Norton,
both
and Bradley Cooper.
And Bradley Cooper, like all these Oscar winners back just do the dumbest shit.
Exactly, they could play. I like when you especially when you see some like athletes where they just be silly, be a character. Which I like in the sports.
Well, the Joe Montana one is still the gold standard.
Yeah,
I'll be up in my room masturbating.
Yes.
Honestly, it was very nice to see even just like comedians unrelated to the show or not in the same circles, just like tweeting about how like the show helped them realize, like, form so much of their sensibility.
Rashida Jones said, like, you informed my comedic sensibility. Thank you.
Made them realize they wanted to do comedy. Yeah. Like they remembered specific.
It's like our fantasy member Megan. Tweeted out saying, watching Amy Poehler and Tina Fey do Update, and he goes, I want to do that one day. Yeah, that's up to a lot of people.
Best of luck.
She's doing okay for herself.
Oh, okay. Best of luck.
She likes making fun of Rob. Nice.
Oh,
yeah, my new nickname.
I got your back. I've been excluded from it, so.
You've been subtweeted from the subtweet.
Apparently. Sarah and I are going to come up with our own nickname for you.
I think that's about it. Not much else to talk about. I mean,
yeah, you pretty much covered all of that. What we got on our list here? Auditions, New York, Presidents, the monologue, all the musical guests. Yeah.
In Memoriam, singing, Eddie Murphy, Wayne's World, Weekend Update, Californians, Jeopardy.
Is anybody going to be mad that even that fish was dead? They had to watch it get blended on live television? Is that going to be a thing?
You're going to watch the Think pieces tomorrow.
Do you think Lorraine Newman had to drink actual fish?
No, it did. It was clearly not the same.
I thought in the original sketch somebody had to actually drink the fish.
I think so. I think it was the same thing where they cut to her with just a glass that looked like it. That's great bass.
I'm all about that bass.
No,
Pop music reference.
Yeah. Dan Aykroyd showing up. Can we talk very briefly about the red carpet? Dan Aykroyd showing up
with his crystal vodka toque. Or knitted cap for our American friends.
Knitted cap. Mike Myers said knit cap, and we were like,
no, he didn't. You practiced saying that in your head first. You didn't mean to, that wasn't your reflex. You have to change that for the audience.
Yeah. He's out. He's out.
Traitor.
Yeah.
And
he's wearing a Blackhawks jersey.
He's trying to make up for it with so many Toronto references immediately in that conversation. But like, no, you're out, Mike.
We knew what you did.
Mike, we talked.
Yeah, we've decided. The four of us.
Yeah.
No. You're not a friend of this podcast like Eddie Murphy.
Eddie Murphy came by. He recorded a whole commentary for Shrek for us, and you did nothing.
Shrek is your go-to for that?
Mike Myers and Eddie Murphy connections over and over again. Yeah. All right. So I think that's it for us.
Woo!
We'll apparently be back for...
Get the hell out. I gotta go.
Dakota Johnson.
Here's the thing. Somebody will probably have to guess about that because I'll be in New York. Shut up. Woo! See you in Daily Show. Maybe John Oliver. Maybe we'll camp out and try and get into SNL.
I think Rob will be camping out for SNL.
Yeah, you have fun with that.
All right. Well, yes. So somebody
28th, right?
That, but yeah, 28th. So March 1st podcast. And that's it. Any final thoughts from anybody?
Overall, great night. That was fantastic.
It was a lot of fun. Brian gave me beer, so I appreciate that.
You're welcome. And now you're going to drive?
Illegally.
Not you now. Enjoy the minus 39. Sarah can still get a ride.
You can't stay here.
She knows her place.
You didn't drink that much. You're fine.
No, I'm good.
Yeah.
I'm good, Julie Champion. Don't worry. I wouldn't drink and drive.
Let's see if she gives you the okay for that.
And Sarah? Were you happy to... Hello. Yeah. Your first podcast?
Yeah. I think
she's been like a guest.
This is the Sarah that I constantly mentioned being in the background, laughing at my dumb...
You thought it was Sarah Palin, didn't you?
No, laughing at me.
Topical. Because she was on the show more times than she needed to be.
Oh, too much.
Well, how great was it when she and Adam Baldwin,
That would have been that pairing would have made more sense.
Alec Baldwin and her first guest of the red carpet special.
Yeah, that was weird.
Alec Baldwin hosted 16 times. Sarah Palin cameo one time.
Yeah,
Perfect.
That was nice.
she wasn't going to say no to a publicity opportunity.
Nope.
Yeah,
It's not what she does.
Rob, your thoughts overall?
It was very heartwarming. I mean, I was kind of worried because I like, as much as I was happy to hear that they were going to do sketches, I was worried that it was going to like not be great sketches and it was going to ground things to a halt. And maybe there was only 1 or 2 times in 3.5 hours where I felt like things were starting to ground to a halt, and
It's pretty good.
That's a
good record,
ratio.
especially for the show. That's a great record.
You guys, you just got to put like 2.5 weeks into every episode, and really just pretend that you have the pressure of.
So Dakota Johnson did really good then.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
We're expecting big things out of you, Dakota.
Like this show went a lot
Like that
more
movie of
smoothly
yours that
than
looks
the
so
Chris
good.
Rock
We got an
episode.
announcement for.
That's true. Do you want to say that?
Oh, this one went a lot more smoothly than the Chris Rock episode even.
Yeah.
And the Chris Rock's episode was about like half as long.
One of
I'm
our
surprised
league
they didn't.
members, Andrew at Kesty, said, "I think this is a lot easier to watch than those live like Peter Pan musical things, whatever that NBC does.
I watched
This is a
some of
smooth
that
one.
I
It's a
agree.
smooth night comparatively.
I agree. Remember, Christopher Walken came out and just instantly introduced Kanye West.
And then disappeared.
That was it.
Yeah.
Well, didn't he say Kanye West?
He said Kanye West. Yeah.
Kanye West.
Kanye West.
Oh, okay.
You want more out of Christopher Walken than that.
Yeah.
Do you think
Especially when he's in
do
that
you
Peter Pan thing.
Do you think Brian Williams was uninvited?
Was he invited initially?
I'm just thinking Christopher Walken, Allison
see
Williams,
him.
Brian Williams.
I could see him being
Yeah.
invited, and then maybe you don't want to.
You probably don't
He
want to be
probably
public.
canceled
for
He
that.
probably
Was he advertised in the trailers before?
I don't
I don't
think
think
so.
Feeling weird to advertise.
Yeah.
He, I don't know. I think I don't know. It's overblown, isn't it?
It is.
We're gonna get into that conversation.
Well, let's save that for our sub podcast.
Val Pal Sarah notes, how did we not see Steve Higgins all the episode?
It's true. I do like
He's,
Steve Higgins.
he's still a producer.
Yeah.
Didn't get to do an announcement on anything, or no.
He and Hammond could have done dueling parts.
Yes, it could.
Does Higgins do a Pardo as well?
I don't know. I mean,
Oh, okay, so
it was
Type
just
of that. I mean, they could have.
announcer
I
joke.
think everyone could do a Don Pardo.
Yeah.
So who was it? I was laughing at the very beginning, saying, "What if tonight is just like a too many cooks of just announcing things
Yeah,
over and over
yeah.
again?" I want that to be a supercut tomorrow. I've decided I don't want to do it because.
Oh, Julia Champion says drive safe.
Aw, thanks, Julie Champion. I think she might be a new viewer, maybe. I haven't seen her name that often, but yay, awesome.
Yay.
Okay, I think that's it for us.
All right.
Get out.
Bye,
It's been a great. I'd like to thank the cast. Everyone. It's the best crew in the world. Have a good night. Thank you. Thanks, New York.